Tsar Nicholas II, born Nikolai Alexandrovich Romanov, was the last monarch of Russia who ascended to the throne in 1894. He belonged to the Romanov dynasty, a prominent Russian royal family with a lineage tracing back to the 17th century. Nicholas II's father was Tsar Alexander III, and his mother was Maria Feodorovna. He became Tsar at the age of 26 after the sudden death of his father. Despite his limited preparation for ruling, Nicholas II inherited a vast empire, facing numerous challenges during his reign, including political unrest, economic struggles, and military defeats, which ultimately led to the downfall of the Romanov dynasty. In February 1917, mass protests erupted in Petrograd, triggered by food shortages and deteriorating living conditions. These protests quickly escalated into a full-blown revolution, with workers, soldiers, and intellects demanding political reforms, including the end of autocracy and the establishment of a democratic government. On March 15, 1917, Tsar Nicholas II abdicated the throne and a provisional government was formed. However, the provisional government failed to address the pressing issues facing the country, and popular support shifted towards the Bolsheviks, a radical socialist party led by Vladimir Lenin. In October 1917, the Bolsheviks seized power in the October Revolution, overthrowing the provisional government in a swift and violent coup. After the Bolsheviks seized power in the October Revolution of 1917, Nicholas II, along with his wife Alexandria and their 5 children, were held in captivity by the Bolshevik government in Ekaterinburg, Russia. On the night of July 17, 1918, the family was awakened and told they were being moved to a safer location due to anti-Bolshevik advances in the region. They were taken to the basement of the Impov house, where they were detained. Shortly thereafter, a firing squad of Bolshevik soldiers, under the order of local authorities, executed the Tsar, his wife, and their children. The details of the assassination are grim. The family was lined up against the wall in the basement, and the soldiers opened fire with rifles, killing them. The bodies were later transported to a remote location and buried in unmarked graves. The assassination of Tsar Nicholas II and the Russian Revolution had significant effects on Europe, challenging established political orders, fueling the spread of communism, and influencing foreign relations and geopolitics. It marked the end of the Russian monarchy, the rise of communism under the Bolsheviks, and the spread of Marxist-Leninist ideology. This event created concerns among other European monarchies and led to the emergence of communist movements in Europe, shaping political ideologies and contributing to geopolitical tensions, particularly during the Cold War era. As we have seen, the assassination of Tsar Nicholas had long-term, dramatic influence on the European continent for decades. Likewise, the next assassination we will explore, that of Franz Ferdinand, was so dramatic that it directly led to war. Franz Ferdinand was born on December 18, 1863, in Graz, Austria, to Archduke Karl Ludwig of Austria and his wife Princess Maria Annazietta of Bourbon-Two Sicilies. He was the eldest son of his parents and a member of the House of Habsburg-Lorraine. Following the death of Crown Prince Rudolf in 1889 and the death of his father in 1896, Franz Ferdinand became the heir to the Austro-Hungarian throne. In addition to his noble stature, he had a successful military career and served as the Inspector General of the Austro-Hungarian Army. Tensions were high in Bosnia in the months leading up to the arrival of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in Sarajevo. Bosnia had been annexed by Austria-Hungary in 1908, and there was resentment among many Bosnians towards their new rulers. Serbian national groups were also active in the region, and there had been a number of assassinations and attempted assassinations on Austro-Hungarian officials. Despite the risks, Franz Ferdinand went ahead with his visit to Bosnia, hoping to ease tensions and promote unity within the empire. His arrival in Sarajevo marked a critical moment in the lead-up to World War I, but it was not yet clear how significant the impact would be. On June 28, 1914, Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary and his wife, Countess Sophie, arrived in Sarajevo, Bosnia, for a state visit. Because of the tense situation in the region caused by Serbian nationals, the day started with the assassination attempt on the Archduke's motorcade. A bomb was thrown at the car, but it missed its target and wounded several bystanders. Later in the day, as the motorcade made its way through the city, another member of the nationalist group, Gavrilo Princip, stepped forward and fired several shots at the Archduke and his wife. The first shot hit Franz Ferdinand in the neck, and the second shot struck Sophie in the abdomen. Both were fatally wounded and died soon after. The assassination set off a wave of panic and confusion in Sarajevo as authorities struggled to apprehend the perpetrators and contain the situation. It was a significant moment in the history of Europe, marking the end of an era of relative peace and stability and the beginning of a period of unprecedented violence and upheaval. The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand in 1914 was a turning point that set off a chain reaction of events. The Austro-Hungarian Empire declared war on Serbia, which led to Russia declaring war on the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and Germany declaring war on Russia and Serbia, all of which led to World War I. The war had a profound impact on Europe, resulting in millions of deaths and widespread destruction. It also paved the way for the rise of extreme political movements such as Nazism. The Treaty of Versailles, which ended the war, imposed harsh penalties on Germany and contributed to the rise of Hitler and the Nazi Party. The assassinations of Tsar Nicholas II and Franz Ferdinand had a significant impact on the future of Europe, setting in motion a chain of events that reverberated throughout the 20th century and beyond. The assassination of Tsar Nicholas II gave rise to a brutal communist regime. The communists dominated Eastern Europe with imperialist impunity. In fact, the ghost of this imperialism can still be felt today in Ukraine. The First World War, sparked by the assassination of Franz Ferdinand, devastated Europe and left behind a political and economic landscape ripe for the emergence of Nazi Germany and the subsequent Second World War. The end of World War II saw the divisions of Europe between capitalist and communist blocs, leading to the Cold War, which shaped international relations for decades to come. The fall of the Soviet Union and the collapse of communism in Eastern Europe paved the way for the emergence of a more interconnected world, with the establishment of the EU and the growth of globalism. However, the legacy of the Cold War continues to impact events in Europe, as seen in the ongoing crisis in Ukraine, which highlights the tensions between Russia and the West and the importance of resolving long-standing issues that have their roots in the events of the early 20th century.